Kira Westwick from Kira's Wholesome Kitchen and 15-Minute Fit Mummies. Today I'm going to show you one of my favourite raw chocolate recipes. It's my raw chocolate top deck, and what I love about this recipe is I can indulge in chocolate every day and know that I'm adding to my health. So to begin with, we're going to make the white component, and what you want to start with is 2 bowls. One is slightly bigger than the other, and I've boiled the kettle and put some hot water in the larger bowl, and then I'm going to put my smaller one in that. Stainless steel does conduct the heat better, but you can just use your normal eating bowls. If you don't have them, that's fine. What I'm going to start with is about ½ a cup of coconut butter. This one is quite expensive from the health food shop. If you go to the Asian grocer, you can get lots of coconut butter or creamed coconut for about $2. So we're going to put in about twice the quantity of coconut butter as we are to cacao butter. And the other great thing about making raw chocolate is your measurements don't need to be precise. You can really just go by flavour and feel. Now, to flavour this up, I'm going to put in about ½ a teaspoon or ¼ of a teaspoon of vanilla powder. You could just use normal vanilla bean if you like, or a really good vanilla extract. Just to add a little bit of sweetness, I've got some organic brown rice syrup. You could use honey or maple syrup. The great thing about brown rice syrup is it doesn't have any fructose, so it's not going to spike your blood sugars. And it's going to be a little bit better if you're trying to lose weight. So 1 to 2 teaspoons or to taste is fine. Now, what you want to remember when working with coconut butter is it can separate really easily. So let the ingredients melt together before you start stirring, and you literally want to fold together 3 to 5 times, that's it. If the oil does separate and it does seize up, once it's set, it's still going to taste just as good. So don't throw it out, you don't want to waste it, but you'll learn for next time. So you just want to gently bring everything together. And then what I've got is some chocolate molds, and you can get these really cheap on eBay. Otherwise you can go to a cake decorating shop or something similar. And I'm going to use my chocolate block. Of course you could use some love hearts or whatever you like, even some little frogs, my kids like those. And we're going to fill up our chocolate mold about halfway. And then just give it a good tap on the bench to make sure that it's nice and even and there's no bubbles in the mix. And then we're going to pop that into the freezer for about 10 minutes to set. Okay, so we're going to make our dark chocolate now, and I'm going to do about ½ a cup of cacao butter. Then I've got 1/3 of a cup of cacao liqueur, and cacao liqueur is basically the cacao nibs ground down to a paste, and it's going to help the chocolate set to a better consistency. If you like, you can definitely just use some raw cacao powder and use about the same amount or to taste depending on how dark you like it. The other thing that's great to use is carob powder, and what I love about this is it's naturally sweet, so I find I don't have to add any sweetener when I use carob powder. So we're going to add that. And I'm just going to let that melt down together. This one isn't as temperamental, so you can really give it a good whisk and make sure that it combines nicely. Now, raw chocolate is very bitter, so what we want to do is add definitely some sweetness to that. Once again, use your preferred sweetener. I'm going to add a really good teaspoon of rice malt syrup. Now, if you want to make just this chocolate component and forego the white chocolate, what I really love to do is add some essential oil. So peppermint is definitely my favourite. Orange works beautifully as well for a Jaffa flavour. Of course, you could add some roasted nuts, some dried fruit, shredded coconut is really beautiful in raw chocolate as well. And if you don't have these chocolate molds, then just use a simple baking dish or freezer container. So I think our white chocolate is ready now, so I'm going to grab it from the freezer. I'm going to give a final real good whisk to make sure that my dark chocolate stays combined nicely. And we're going to pour that over the white chocolate. Once again, just give it a good tap to make sure that there's no bubbles. I'm going to place this back in the freezer to set. You know when it's set because it will start pulling away from the edges of the mold and it will turn out really easily. So the chocolate's had about 10 minutes in the freezer and it's starting to pull away from the edges. So we're just going to turn that out. It should come out nice and easily. Wow, it's so shiny and beautiful. Yum, I can't wait to get into this. So you can really turn these into nice gifts. I had some leftover dark chocolate after making this one, and I added some of that peppermint essential oil and made some dark chocolate hearts. You can get some of the foil wrappers and make them into gifts even, which is really beautiful. Just to go over some of my chocolate tips again, remember you can just use the containers you have around the house. Essential oils, make sure that you use food grade. I really love the Young Living essential oils. They're the ones that I like to use. Peppermint and orange especially work well. If you can't afford the cacao butter or you can't find it, you can definitely use just coconut oil. It is going to melt quicker out of the freezer and it will change the flavour and consistency, but it's still delicious. And with the coconut butter, if you find that that's just out of your budget, then just head to the Asian grocer and buy it in the blocks. It comes in cardboard boxes for about $2, $2.50. Hope you enjoyed that. Remember, you can get the full recipe at kirawestwick.com.au.